Iran's president had earlier rejected this idea of direct talks with the US. How significant is this development?
Well, thank you for having me on. As far as I understand, there was a Reuters report that quoted Iranian officials after the press conference saying that direct negotiations would not be taking place between the United States and Iran. Instead, there would be indirect negotiations in Oman this Saturday. So it's unclear who's telling the truth here. The Iranians may be trying to save face by saying, that they're not capitulating fully, that they're not meeting with the United States face to face. They're doing this indirectly through intermediaries, given that their positions on the United States, or that the U.S. is, not a credible interlocutor, and that they have no reason to talk to us face to face.
Yeah, so we have to see what will happen on that front then. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was there for a meeting. He shares these concerns on Iran, of course. Did he have anything to say about this?
He didn't note anything about the direct negotiations specifically. He did say that he was on board with the idea of negotiating, or he suggested he was on board with the idea of negotiating, which was interesting, given that Prime Minister Netanyahu would prefer a tougher approach to Iran. At the same time, he's the person that coined the idea of fix the JCPOA, don't nix it necessarily. So this may be a continuation of that. He may have trust in the Trump administration and President Trump's ability to bring more pressure to bear on Iran, and that the outcome of these negotiations, direct or indirect, would be a better and stronger deal that would deprive Iran of pathways to a nuclear program, or a military nuclear program, rather.
David, this was Benjamin Netanyahu's second visit to the White House since Donald Trump's re-election. Overall, how did it go?
Well, it seems to have gone well. The two men get along well. They have a pre-existing relationship that predates even President Trump getting into office. Now, when President Trump was out of office, there was some tension between the two men. Famously, President Trump expressed dissatisfaction with Prime Minister Netanyahu in an interview with Barak Ravid for Barak Ravid's book on Trump peace proposals in the region, the Trump peace initiative in the region. But they seem to have patched things up. There's a strong relationship with the two men. There's a strong relationship between the United States and Israel. But as we know, for President Trump, the personal precedes the political.
Trump ducked the question on whether he would cut Israel's tariff. Is there any sign of negotiation there?
Well, it seems like they are. That was the purpose of Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit, one of the primary purposes. So he ducked a lot of questions too. I mean, he redirected from the JCPOA to Hamas, and he kept doing that. It's unclear if he did that intentionally. He also stressed rather cryptically, or I wouldn't have necessarily kind of made that logical train of thought between asking if the talks between him and Prime Minister Netanyahu would lead to the removal of tariffs entirely on Israel. He linked that to the aid that we provide to Israel of approximately $4 billion. So unclear if that was President Trump speaking stream of thought, or if he was saying, well, we give them this massive amount of aid, more aid than any other country, so the tariffs are a bit of a trade-off. It's unclear if that's what he meant.
And Netanyahu's last visit to Washington had Donald Trump reimagining Gaza's future, much to Netanyahu's delight there. What did the pair discuss on Gaza this time round?
Well, according to President Trump, it seems like they've discussed ceasefire negotiations, reaching another ceasefire deal. President Trump came in saying he doesn't want the war in Gaza to be continuing once he assumes office. That remains his position. He'd prefer to make deals, to make peace. That seems to be his inclination. For all of his bombastic rhetoric and sometimes harsh rhetoric, Trump is at essence a peacemaker and a deal maker, I would say. So I think he preferred the war to be over. He seems to be touched personally by the issue of the hostages in the Gaza Strip, the Israeli hostages that remain held there. Now, when it comes to the so-called Trump Riviera plan, he also opined on that. It seems like he has taken a more flexible approach, or at least, again, unclear stream of thought, or whether he's leaning towards more flexibility. He seems to want to give Gazans the option to leave if they so choose. At the same time, he said, and he emphasized again today, he's open to other options. And he's heard different options, as he said, some he likes, some he doesn't like, but he didn't elaborate more on what were those that he liked and what were those with which he was dissatisfied.